On episode 31 of the Saluki Standards podcast, we hear from All-American for Saluki Football, the running back, Javon Williams. Pretty good numbers for Javon last year. 21 total touchdowns, 17 as a runner, 2 as a receiver, and also 2 as a passer. He also ran for 1,000 yards on the ground last year as well. We'll talk about his favorite moment from last season, also his Babe Ruth moment. He called his shot in one of his games at Centralia High School here in Southern Illinois. And finally, what's left to work on after All-American, All-Conference, and a bunch of other accolades that came his way last year? We'll hear a critique of Javon from Javon on what he can do better as a sophomore. All that and more coming up on episode 31 of the Saluki Standards podcast, and it begins right now. Javon, the first thing I noticed when talking to you is the T-shirt you're wearing. A lot of the guys have been rocking those in the weight room throughout the offseason. It says, "Nobody cares, work harder." What can you tell us about the slogan?
So "Nobody cares, work harder" is the logo we wear. Basically, we wear it because the next person that you're about to compete against, they're not worried about how much you're working. They're worried about how much they're working. So basically, we live by that every day, working out in the weight room throughout our life. On the back, you can see we got a chip on it, and basically it's the date for when we didn't make it in the playoffs, and it's a sour feeling, and we just continue to work hard and try our best to come out on top for next season.
That was something that started in, the early part of December when you guys first got back together? Who came up with the idea?
I think it was Andy Harris, our gear man, and Coach Hill was working up a little idea, and they ended up coming with it. But I mean, we didn't steal it, so no copyright. But yeah, I know Lamar. I watch a lot of his games and his after his talks, interviews, and he wears "Nobody Cares, Work Harder" a lot. So
Lamar Jackson, you're talking about.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, quarterback for the Baltimore Ravens.
Yes,
Speaking of that, we had a ton of football on TV last weekend, first weekend of the NFL, bunch of college games going on. How did you feel being a spectator?
It's hard, man. Since freshman year of high school, I haven't missed a fall season, and just sitting back watching, it's definitely a different perspective, but it gives me opportunity and advantage to sit there and study my competition in the future.
What'd you pick up? What do you think you'll take back with you?
I can say this. I don't know if it's people want to use that as an excuse, but I was watching it. It was a lot of tackles that were missed. I was watching that, and in football, that's a big thing that is important, tackling. And I'm sitting there watching how they're tackling, and I'm just picturing and envisioning myself like running the ball. How am I run it? Am I going to stiff arm them? Am I going to run them over? Outrun them. It's a lot of stuff that comes into spectating and just, watching film and getting better at it.
Would you be ready to play a game right now? If we had to play on Saturday, could you do it?
Oh, yeah, anytime. Anytime I'm ready to play football.
So you don't need a build-up. You don't need a couple of weeks.
No build-up, none of that. You put us in between lines, you can put a football down and tell us to play, I'm ready anytime.
Last year, you had so many highlights. In your mind, what was the highlight?
I would say my favorite highlight was Youngstown game. Jacob Garrett's first touchdown of the season, of his college career, and I take that in perspective, and I look at that as something special because I was a part of that moment when JG made his first touchdown.
That was the one that you threw.
Yeah.
In the game that you caught one, you ran for one, and you threw one, the one you're talking about to Jacob. Is there any sort of bias that it was the one that you threw, that was your favorite since you're a former quarterback?
No, it's more of, I've always been a player that I like getting my teammates involved. Just, growing up, I've always played that captain position, such as like baseball, played pitcher, football is quarterback, basketball is the point guard. Just growing up, I've always loved getting my teammates involved and just watching them be successful as much as me.
The one that you caught stood out to me. I thought you might say that one because you had the play along the sideline where you stiff-armed two guys.
Oh yeah, I high stepped and stiff armed dude. Yeah, that was pretty special. But yeah, when I got JG his first touchdown, just the vibe that he gave off, the energy, it was just amazing.
Yeah. No, that was both of those just such a cool image of seeing how excited Jacob was, but then the image of two guys crashing into each other, pretty epic as well.
Yeah, it was good times.
You redshirt your freshman year. You play in 4 games. You get a little bit of experience, but what transformation happened between your redshirt freshman year and your freshman year that allowed you to do what you did?
I would say it wouldn't have happened if my coaches wouldn't have had the trust that they have with me. They have a lot of trust in me, and just allowing me to – it was mostly like a 50-50 mutual thing of, okay, does Javon want to play running back? Is he like it? Give him a shot. So I started throughout the whole training camp, I was just running back reps. And I was basically just, even in my red shirt freshman year, I would be running back for the scout team, just push and grind and just continue to try to beat them just as much as they want to beat me, just to get them better. And I told Coach, I was like, hey, Coach, like, I love this feeling when I run the football. And he's like, I like you at this position. We just worked it out, and we just kept working because at quarterback, I've never actually had a run with the running back style, but I've always had it growing up. So they just kept working with me. We were being very consistent about everything, learning footwork to pass protection, and it just all clicked, came together, and it came out to be a good positive season for me.
It sounded like in recruiting you were a little bit stubborn that you wanted to play quarterback.
Oh, yeah. So, a lot of the colleges that were recruiting me at the time, my senior year, I was very stubborn because I felt like I worked my butt off, and like being one of the top quarterbacks in history of Illinois high school football, it's like I wanted to take that chip and keep it on my shoulder. I'm a quarterback. I want to play quarterback. If you don't want me to play quarterback, then it's probably not a good college for me. And Coach, he took care of it, and he knew I wanted to play quarterback, came in, and I kind of didn't get it, plays and stuff, because it's a lot different. It's a lot different than high school, and running back worked, I guess.
You're talking about the mental side of the game, and a lot is still thrown at you at the position you're playing now, kind of a hybrid where you line up at quarterback sometimes you're at running back, sometimes wide receiver.
Yeah.
How difficult is it playing kind of several different positions, even though you're tagged as a running back?
Honestly, I look at that as like back in like growing up, when you were a kid and everybody wants to play every position, such like when you're scrimmaging, growing up. And I just liked it. And I like having that I told Coach, I said, put me in uncomfortable situations because I want to be comfortable in the situations. And he kept doing that, and they kept throwing things at me. And it was hard sometimes, challenging sometimes, but, practicing and being consistent on getting the plays right and just staying disciplined to learning it instead of wanting to do it your way, it helps out a lot.
I'm sure there are times where, maybe a play breaks down or a block breaks down or, something on the mental side might break down. How many times do you think you were able to make up for some of those things with just, your strength, your speed, and your athleticism last year?
I would say it was honestly, we had a lot of our plays, I would say 7 out of 10 times everybody executed their position from the center to the all the receivers to the quarterback and the running back. But altogether, yeah. Could you repeat that again for me?
Just, if there is a scenario where something breaks down on the mental side, how often were you able to make up for it with your natural ability and your strength and your speed?
Okay, so basically coach says when plays break, get as much yards as you can, but your ultimate goal is to get back to the line. So through plays, sometimes, maybe maybe the right guards or left guards, they're not giving into their all that play, and they end up breaking through, and I got to make the play. It's just all in moment. I like to use people's momentum against them throughout the play. So if he's coming screaming down, I'll just set him up and hesitate him and move around. But yeah, I use a lot of my ability to make things positive when they're not positive.
It seems like you, despite not playing running back for that long, you have, a pretty good instinct for how the position should be played, how you should be doing your job. If you could critique yourself a little bit, where are your blind spots still after only playing the position for 1 year?
Between it, let's see. I'm about to say pass protection was my biggest issue because I'm looking at it from a different perspective at running back instead of quarterback. So as a quarterback, you're taking your 3-step drop and you're blocked. Like people are blocking for you. But at running back, it's different because you're the one blocking. So whoever's coming, you got to pick that up. But if I was to critique myself, it probably was pass protection, just looking past the line and the mesh, knowing who's coming. Is that corner cat coming? Are we gonna have a sonic blitz from the safety, stuff like that? But I've been doing my research, learning, studying it more, so just getting better.
Barry Sanders was your guy growing up, right?
Yes, sir. Watched all his highlights. I still do to this day. Even when I get bored, I'll just pull up his highlights just to see what I can do better. And it helps out a lot.
This might be an obvious question, but what do you like about Barry?
Barry Sanders. What I love about Barry Sanders is every time he stepped on the field, he wanted to be the best player. I liked how he ran, knowing he didn't have the odds. Even when he didn't have it, he would still run. He knew he would have to make that play, a positive play, and get positive yards. And every play he had the football, he wanted to score, the mindset. And that's the mentality I have every time I step on the field is every time I get the ball, I got to get in the end zone. There's no other way. So,
who else do you watch?
I've been watching. Ever since last year, the whole run with the Titans. I've been watching some Derrick Henry plays, just seeing how explosive, and watching him individually when he works out, seeing what kind of workouts I can do on my own time. As you see, nobody cares works harder. Just working hard and just getting better.
You're 6'1", 240. I mean, your size stands out anytime you line up in the backfield. And then when you challenge somebody in the hole, it stands out even more if you get the better of them. When did you grow? When did you get big and strong?
If you look at my family, you see all the genetics. You'll see like my dad. My dad's a big guy. He's always been a big guy. He played at Rockford at 250 at 5'11", playing D tackle on the line, still smoking things. So, I mean, I started getting bigger, I want to say 7th going into 8th grade, because I've always been that more muscular body type as a kid. And I don't know, I just grew about 4 inches from 7th to 8th grade, and everything started filling out, and I'm how I am now.
So, I mean, you had it from a relatively young age, yet you had very few Division I offers despite what you did in high school with 52 touchdowns your senior year. Why did people miss you despite those things?
I mean, I would say later recruitment. Because I had a lot of – like after I've committed, I had more schools reach out to me in the last weeks of me like coming to the I came in late July, because I had to take the test again. It was basically due to GPA, but I started having bigger schools look at me, and I knew from the get-go though that Carbondale was where I wanted to go because the family and how they treat you, like it's all genuine love. It's not none of this putting two-face on and stuff like that. Coach Hill is who he is, and I love him, man. I love all the coaches, and they love me, and that's why I stuck here.
Was that obvious from a pretty young age? I mean, did SIU have that reputation in your mind since you were close by, about an hour and 10 minutes away?
See, no, nah. See, when I was growing up, my school the two schools that I wanted to go to for football were either Oregon or I wanted to go to Florida State. You know, I would love to play in Florida, but Carbondale it is. So,
What's unique about Carbondale in your mind?
what's unique about Carbondale? I mean, I've been to different colleges and I've met a lot of different coaches, but it's really the actions that really made me commit. Because just Coach Hill, you know, he would come to my basketball games and stuff like that, and just cheer me on. He'll talk to me as if he was a coach back then. Like he was like, you know, why didn't you dunk it and stuff like that, and it just made me feel like driven, more motivated. And I'm like, man, I would love to play for this man, because it was junior year when I believe it was junior year when I first started talking to him, like going to junior, because I went to the Lindenwood camp. But yeah, like ever since then, they've always showed me love, and they've always kept it up, like realistic with me. It was never beating around the bush. It was straightforward. So I like that.
Was that your first interaction with Coach Hill, that basketball game he came to see you at?
No, actually, first time I met him, it was out of nowhere too, because it was like they was talking about football recruits gonna start coming in. I was like, all right, because I've never been in this situation, so I'm like, okay, what's coming? And then Coach came in, and he, you know, it's a Division I FCS, and I was like, wow, this is it. It's my dream. I've always wanted to play Division I ball, and from there, we just ran with it.
I want to go back to your high school playing days. The game against Cahokia where you kind of called your shot. You told the legend is you told your grandpa, I'm going to break the record, and then you go out and run for 350 yards that night and set a school record.
No doubt. So it's been a few times I've rushed over 300 yards in high school, and it was a game where I broke the record. It was like 317 by Rashad Campbell, which is my aunt's so basically my aunt is dating his brother. So basically he's like a uncle figure to me growing up. So, I mean, we talked about it. He's like, when you going to break my record? And I was like, so I'm going to break it before I leave high school. And it was a barbecue, right? The tailgate right before the game, about 3 hours for the game, before we had to be there. And I'm talking to my grandpa and my dad. I'm like, hey, I'm going for this record today, because I had rushed and I took three nils or 2 nils to end the game, and I took 2 steps back. So I took 6 yards off, which I ended up with like 314, and it was 317. I was like, wow. But I told my dad, I was like, this game I'm going for 350 or more, and ended up rushing for 354, which was pretty cool.
Did you know at the time, like once you hit the 350 plateau, did you know that you had hit it?
No, I kind of noticed like second quarter, third quarter, I'm like, I've been running a lot of yards, and like I scored a lot, and I was just like, I got to be close to that record. And I kept running hard, but like ever since I was like younger, I've never actually looked for stats. I've always played. You know, if it happens, it happens, because it's been times I've said it and it didn't happen. Like basketball, I would say, you know, we're not going to lose, or I'm going to score 50 points and end up scoring like 40. So I told him, and it happened, and we still talk about that to this day. So
what did Grandpa say once you got back to him after the game?
My grandpa is super stoked. He is super excited. I used to always – every week I would go see him, you know. He passed away my freshman year of college, but, yeah. He always was proud of me.
Yeah. I'm sorry you lost him.
Oh, it's okay. It's okay. He's in a better place now, and I know he's still watching me. So
you talked about running hard. I've heard that you'll get hit and kind of giggle about it. You're all about having fun on the field.
Oh, yeah.
What's the reaction of the defender when they get a pretty good lick on you and you're giggling about it?
They're speechless. Honestly, they're just like why are you laughing? And it's just like, I don't know. I love the game, and like I'll talk to them as they tackle me. Like my first time was doing it it wasn't my freshman redshirt year when I got my 4 games. It was this year, that last year. And UT Martin played us, and they hit me, and I was just like, it felt like soft. So I would start giggling. I would giggle, be like, man, good tackle, stuff like that. And I don't know. I just love doing that, making them feel as if the tackle really didn't hurt. Sometimes it did, but I love contact. I just love playing with happiness, I guess.
So you're almost like an Andrew Luck. It's not trash talking. It's almost like complimenting the opponent.
Oh, yeah. Like my dad even said it growing up. He's like, what do you say? Like he'd watch me play basketball and he'll just see a player that's guarding me or he see me talk to him and the dude is just like, it's like he dies inside. You know what I mean? It's like you say something to somebody and they're like, and they start thinking about it through the process of playing the game. It's hard to, it makes them discombobulated. And I'll just compliment them. Like, and they look at me as like I'm crazy. And I'm just like, hey, take it how you take it. Don't fold, because if you fold, I'm going to keep beating.
That's amazing. That's amazing. People talk about running backs and how, your body's taking a beating, which it is, on most Saturdays. But I've got to think your defenders are feeling a lot of that pain when you're running at them too, don't you think?
Oh, no doubt. And with that, being us getting hit so much, I feel as if it's all about how you take the hit. Like when I play football, I've always trained to make it a better outlook on my body. So I'm not gonna so when I played defense in high school, I would know, I'm gonna hit them this way, or I'll just run them over in the tackle instead of shooting and stuff. Because like you see this finger, I messed this finger up high school, like it never can straighten out anymore. But yeah, like once I got hurt like that, I was just like, what can I do in the play and in the time of the moment? Like what can I do to decrease the impact? And throughout college, since I've been here, I've learned that. I've picked on it. I'm trying to master still, but I feel like as long as if you're running back and you learn how to take that hit and to go with it, flow with it instead of pushing into it, I mean, you'll have a lot more years of playing football, no doubt about it.
So it's a lot more about how you absorb that impact than it is about avoiding that contact. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. So like people would go, and it's all over. There's football players to this day that don't want to get hit. I don't want to get hit, but at the same time, you're going to get hit. It's the game of football. It's a lot of collision, contact, compact. So, but I mean, that's how I've always played.
Right. I want to close with this, Javon. The year 2009 is important to people in this town. That was the last time that Saluki football went to the playoffs. Yeah. I know it's important to you guys based on the conversation we've had about your T-shirt that you're wearing right now.
Yes, sir.
What would it mean, even if it is this spring and you have to wait, which it seems like we will, what would it mean to you to get to the playoffs?
I don't want to sound cocky or nothing, because Coach has been talking about this for a while, ever since we lost, I feel like this year, and Coach knows it, and Coach will agree with me, this is like the year that we have a team that's probably won't get beat a lot. And I'm not trying to say it like that or publicize this as that being cocky, but our team is the Salukis, and we've been working and we've came together as a family. It's not it's we. We're one team, one heartbeat, and it's going to mean a lot to us when we make it, because we're going to know that it paid off. All this, nobody cares, work harder. We're doing this in the shadows. We're doing this in the closet. We're going to bring it out this upcoming spring, and they'll see us in the playoffs. They'll see us at the Natty. So that's all I got to say.
You don't have to apologize for being confident.
That's all it is.
Oh, hey, man, I'll get you to your workouts. I know you got to get out of here, but I appreciate you for doing this. And
no problem, anytime.
Hopefully we're watching the Salukis play some football here again soon.
Yes, sir.
That's Javon Williams, running back, sometimes wide receiver, sometimes quarterback for SIU football here on the Saluki Standards podcast.